Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Robert Allen, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Squadron Leader Guru Singh. This evening, we are honoured to acknowledge Dr. Charles Woodburn, Group Chief Executive Officer of BAE Systems plc, and the accompanying delegation. We are also honoured to acknowledge the International Five Eyes delegation in attendance. We also warmly welcome Mr. Greg Hood, representing the Air Force Association. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of Tabletop Public School from Tabletop, New South Wales. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Those requiring a seat, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Flight Sergeant Dudley Francis Fulford. Dudley Fulford was born in Perth on the 29th of July 1913, the son of Francis and Flora Fulford. He grew up in the suburb of Midland Junction, attended Midland Junction State School, and went on to follow an apprenticeship with A. Douglas Jones and Company, Guildford, for 5 years, working as a carpenter and joiner. He had been a member of the Australian Military Forces, having paraded part-time with the 28th Battalion from 1930 to 1933. Dudley Fulford enlisted in the Royal Australian Air Force on the 26th of May 1941. After initial training, he began training as an air gunner. After attending wireless air gunner school at Ballarat and bombing and gunnery school at Port Pirie, on the 16th of May 1942, he embarked for Sydney, bound for overseas service. As part of the Empire training scheme, he was one of almost 27,500 RAF pilots, navigators, wireless operators, air gunners, and flight engineers who throughout the course of the war joined Royal Air Force squadrons or the Australian squadrons based in Britain. Arriving in United Kingdom in mid-August, Fulford continued training until the 30th of September 1942, when he transferred to the newly established number 464 Squadron, RAAF. Equipped with Lockheed Ventura light bombers, number 464 Squadron was part of 2 group of Bomber Command. Its first operation, an attack on the Philips radio factory at Eindhoven in Netherlands on the 6th of December 1942, characterized its method of carrying out precision raids against point targets. In daylight attacks, the squadron flew in close formation across the English Channel at low level to avoid detection by enemy radar, and then climbed quickly to their bombing height of 10,000 feet, swiftly diving again to sea level after the attack and leaving their escort to prevent pursuit. Losses were generally light on these tip-and-run raids, but on many occasions, aircraft were badly damaged. On the 4th of April 1943, 12 Ventura bombers took off from RAF Methwold to bomb the docks at Rotterdam in Holland. There was considerable opposition over the target area, with heavy and accurate anti-aircraft fire, and several aircraft were damaged. Fulford's aircraft was hit over the target area, but continued in formation flying until they came close to the Dutch coast, when it lagged behind, lost height, and eventually ditched. It was believed to have been finished off by enemy fighters in the vicinity. A search sent out later in the day was unsuccessful, and all crew members were presumed to have died. Warrant Officer Eric Cole, Flight Sergeant Albert Lush, Warrant Officer William Collins, and Flight Sergeant Dudley Fulford, who was 29 years old. With no known grave, today Dudley Fulford is commemorated at the Runnymede Memorial by the banks of River Thames. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. A photo of his name listed on the Runnymede Memorial is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flight Sergeant Dudley Francis Fulford, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozieres or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they'll be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of our director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.